Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about, well, a promise I made that I would show you my experimental idea on powering my Vosker security camera model V150. Now, this particular situation could apply to so many different cameras out there, and the problem that I have with this camera is every January it just shuts off because it's got a solar panel on top, it's got a lithium battery inside, and when the snow just sits on it for an extended period of time, the battery just goes down and down and down and down. And what I want to do is I want to resolve that. And one way that I can do this is by, well, using the existing power I have from my solar panel array that I have up at my camp in Northern Ontario for my garage. And I've got two deep cycle batteries, two 12-volt deep cycle batteries, and I got two 100-watt solar panels. Now, I'm going to actually tap into the system with the appropriate hardware that will allow me to power that camera from the fall to the spring, because I really don't need it during the summertime up to the fall. So when I close down my camp in the fall, I'll turn a switch on and I'll have auxiliary power to keep it powered all winter long, and it won't be depending on the solar panel. So let's go over to the bench. I'll show you how I'm going to do this, and let's take a look. Okay, so these are the main parts that I'm going to use. I got this small little board I'm going to attach it to, and I've got a fuse, a switch, and I just got just one of these project boxes. And this is the bottom, and it'll just snap right on top. I'm going to mount the fuse and the switch. I'm going to use these particular connectors here, these lever nut connectors, and I think they're fantastic to work with. And this is the only thing that I need. Now this is a step down, it's called a buck converter or a voltage reducer. So this particular one here, I'll show you on the back here. And so you got your 5-volt input up to 10 amps, which I won't need no 10 amps, but I like to have it bigger than what you actually need so that you're not taxing it out. And this particular unit here, it says 12 or 24, but I'll try and show the specs here exactly on this unit and how it actually works. And when you think about it, all I'm doing is attaching two wires. So you're going to have these two wires are going to be the feed going in, the 12-volt feed from the battery. And these two here will go to the camera, and it'll keep it powered, and I got the switch for turning it off and on. Now, I'm going to use some of these wire ferrules, and that's just to put on each one of these wires here, all the wiring, so that it makes a better connection when it's actually inserted in these lever nut connectors. And I'm going to put this all together first, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you it all put together and how easy this is. Now I actually have the exact same one like this up at my camp already, and it is powering my cell phone signal booster. That's on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's running, and I have no problems at all. So I'm sure I have the capacity to run the camera and this all winter long off of them two batteries and two 100-watt solar panels. So let me just put this all together first. I'll bring you back and I'll explain how it's supposed to work, how much power it's going to use, and the only thing I can recommend is wait till I got this installed, set up, run, and everything else before you try to do this yourself, because you know what? When you're experimenting, sometimes it goes sideways on you, right? So let me actually test this all out, get it working and everything before I actually say it's okay to actually use in my particular situation. last thing I want to do is have everybody trying this out themselves and blowing up their camera, right? So, but I don't think that would happen. But let me just get this all put together here first, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so I got this all finished. This is an hour later, and I'll show you how this all works. So you just imagine this is the 12 volt feed going in right here. And I like using these connectors because you know what? These buck converters, step down converters, or step up, whatever one that you need. This is going from 12 volt to 5 volt. And they only last approximately 100,000 hours. So in a year is almost 9,000 hours. So, you know, in another 10 years I got to replace this. So I put a couple of screws on here. They don't go all the way through. They're just started. So when I get up there I can screw it all down. Now all I did is put some hot glue on the back side here. And I'll just give you a quick look there. That's all the tools that I use for this job. That was it. And I used the soldering iron. And, you know, this here, 10 years for 20 bucks. That's not too bad, right? So the power feed comes in here from my 12 volt battery. Goes into here, goes to my 10 amp fuse. I just used a soldering iron just to cut out a hole in this plastic. Then I just drilled some holes around. 10 amp fuse. This is a 10 amp buck converter. And here's the off and on. Now it's got off and on here too, right? But I'll never see that at 15 feet away, right? So come on, I gotta, you know, put a big off and a big on there, right? So it goes through the fuse, through here. Now this makes it easier using these here because I can just snap this up. If I ever have to change a switch or anything else, it's easy to work on. Goes through here, comes out, and goes to the camera, 5 volt. Now the great idea about these step down converters or step up converters, whatever one that you require for the voltage that's needed at your particular camera, or it could be any other electrical device, doesn't have to be a camera, is the cost. And the cost is pretty low, and so far the one I have running up at my camp now 24/7 has been on there for a long time, well over a year, still going. Now I make sure that this here is a 10 amp. The most I figure I'm going to need is maybe 2 amp. So I make sure that I get one a little bit bigger than what I need. Now how much power does this draw? About 10 milliamps an hour. So maybe a quarter of an amp a day. So I have no problem with reserve capacity being the power. And the camera, I don't know how much that takes, but I don't think it takes as much as even this. So the great thing is adjustability. So let's just turn this is my DC power supply. So we're down to 9 volts, right? And I'll come over here and I'll turn it on. We got 5. Okay, so I'll come over here and I'll turn the voltage up. I want you to watch the end result, the 5 volt one. Okay, now I gotta go to the larger one. So now we're at 12 volt, we're still at 5.075. 13 volt. Now the most my batteries will charge is around 14.4, 14.5. So you could see how even from a low voltage to a higher voltage, okay, we want to take this up to say 15, 16. I mean, there's no way my battery charge controller would charge that high. Even still, look how it's maintaining. 5 volts. So I think that's pretty cool there. Okay, so what I do have is I've got some wiring and a length of cable. Let me just show you that. Okay, so let's just take a look here. So I've already pre-done a long length here. This is a 20 footer. I won't need 20 feet, but get the idea here is this is the micro USB that goes on the bottom of the camera, and I just bought this off of Amazon, and I think this was like 10 bucks, 12 bucks, something like that. You got 2 in the box. So this just goes in the bottom of the camera. So the long lead will plug into here. This one will plug into here and head right out to the camera and to power it up. And I think this is going to work awesome. It's not the first time I've used these step-down converters, and I like to use these here because everything is like a module now, so I can snap everything in and out so easily. If I have to change one of these, it's easy. So what do you think? So I think it's going to work, but like I said in the beginning, this is an experiment on my part. Wait till I get this all set up and proven first. Last thing I want to do is tell everybody to follow my instructions and then end up having problems after, right? Because really, this is something that I have to work out, make sure it's top-notch first. I have so many, well, for all of you that have been following the channel, you know I got this 4 battery solar charge controller that I made earlier in the year, and I have to install that. And I have to put two solar panels, two 100-watt solar panels on the end of my cabin. I got to put a door at the other end of my cabin, and of course this. So it's going to be a busy year for me. So stay tuned to the channel and see some interesting stuff you may not see somewhere else. Come back again, and if you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and follow along like everybody else. Cheers.